Welcome to the Fan Club YouTube channel. Please make sure to subscribe, like this video, and comment down below. Welcome back, everybody, to the Fan Club Pod. I am joined today by all the fellas in the office, except for our boy who's getting married, as he is back home for the week. Sitting here with Frizz, Cuddy, and Yelly, and one of these special guys is going to be interviewed today. We're going to save that for a couple minutes from now. So, how we doing, guys?
Doing good. The weather has been awesome this weekend and week. Like we kind of said earlier, that we have been getting spoiled by this wonderful Minnesota summer, so can't complain.
Yeah, we got a big week ahead of us. We got to head up to Canada for Lawson's wedding, and you're heading to WeFest. And
yeah, I'm heading to Country
right.
Music Festival, so
right.
I'm hoping this weather keeps on kicking.
What year is this for you?
This is year 5 for me.
In a row?
In a row?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've gone every single year in a row except for like the COVID year. And it all started back when my dad went to the first WeFest ever 30 plus years ago.
Wow.
And then he took us as a family one year and got hooked and been going ever since. So
Freezing tradition.
yeah.
Wayne
Well,
freezing.
it's kind of funny how it's like we went like just as a family our first year, and then like each year, like I brought a friend, my brother brought a friend, and then like they would have some of their friends, and now it's grown to like their campsite has like 10 friends going, and then my campsite has like a bunch of other friends going too. So it's quite the crew now so far.
Do you tent out, or does someone bring a camper? that you all
Well,
sleep
my
in, or what?
parents have the luxury of a camper, but no, I'm still tenting it out.
Hmm.
But this year, actually, I just tested it out last night. I got a portable AC unit. It's a mini little AC thing that's
Good
going
call.
to help out the tent, so I'm excited for my luxury living.
I just tented on Saturday for the first time in about 10 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How's
How
the
was
back
it?
feel?
It was fine. I had a blow-up mattress that I manually pumped up. But, yeah, we had a little fan, like a battery fan,
Yeah.
but did not need it because at 5 a.m. I woke up shivering, and I was wearing sweats and sweatpants.
Really? Wow.
It was cold up north.
You get cold in the mornings. You're
Yeah, I
tenting
went out to take a leak by the tree at like 5:30, I think, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm shivering."
Had the goosebumps.
And then 2 hours later, like 7:38, I was just sweating. I had to get out of that thing. How you doing, Yelly?
Good, man. Doing good. Got some coffee on the table, so
Yeah, thanks
Keeps
for
Yeah,
those.
thanks for bringing
thank
those
you.
today.
Man of your word.
yeah. Well,
Explain why you brought those.
So last week there was a 3M Open here in Minnesota, and we had the privilege to go and see the first day on Thursday of the opening round. And prior to going to it, we had a bet where we each picked a player, and whoever, I guess, came in, whoever's player had the worst score had to pick up a round of coffees. And my boy Adam Svensson, who I only picked because of our goalie, former college teammate, his last name was also Svensson. He let me down, so I had to get Dunkin' Donuts for the boys
Did
this
he
morning.
did he even make the cut?
He did.
He
He
did.
made the
They,
cut.
all of our guys made the cut.
All of our
Okay,
guys did.
That's why
That's
I
pretty
was,
good.
That's what I was gonna say. Like the most big name there didn't even make the cut,
Yeah.
and I'm surprised none of us took him.
Yeah, I
Is that
agree.
down year.
Yeah, I think Frizz might have sent a message in the group chat. Someone did, but at one point, like Svensson was like in first or like second, and then he just like absolutely imploded. And he like, yeah. So
Yeah, I thought my guy was Billy Horschel. I thought he was gonna come back on Sunday, but I think he was down like that. Leader was like
Oh, he was
Yeah,
way
he
ahead.
is so
finished
far
like
ahead.
22 under or something.
24.
24.
That's
crazy.
impressive.
That's impressive. But
Especially because we played it at a very subpar level.
it was a good
Yeah,
bet.
it was no, it was super cool, like being at the course too and seeing their setup and everything, and then going to the Stilly party deck was awesome. We went on Thursday and it was quiet. Obviously, it's Thursday during the day, but Dave went there Saturday and it was bumping. Dave even got a pretty funny Insta photo on
That
their
was really
page. So
funny.
if you want to go check it out, go see Dave and his crazy hair.
Yeah.
Does Dave listen to this show? Do you know?
He might.
Well,
What,
Dave, if you're listening, I laughed really loud when I saw that picture because the visor you're wearing, it kind of made it look like you had one of those fake hair
Yeah.
visors on.
Uh-huh.
How Your hair was all puffed up.
Spike.
Yeah. That was funny.
That was good. Well, we're not here to talk about golf or anything like that today. We're here to pick on one certain guy and get to know his whole life story.
Who's it going to be?
The fans voted on who they wanted to hear from next.
Uh-oh.
Drum roll, please. Ooh, that was good.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
We are going to be diving into Mr. Levi Cudmore today.
Hey, Farmer Cudmore.
I want to shout out all the fans for voting for me. Getting this out of the way. I'm a little nervous, but
beat me by 5.
yeah, me and Frizz checked yesterday to
Oh,
see
is
the
that
polls.
close?
Yeah, and we were tied at
By
like
5.
99 votes each.
What did I have? I was pretty far behind you when I looked. It was like
Everyone
34,
knows, yeah.
30, and then whatever the other
Look at
number
the
would
final scores. Cuddy 121, 116, 72.
be. Dang, I was way
39%
behind the
to
boys.
38%.
Yeah,
Good.
it was very
We
close.
appreciate you guys always interacting on those stories, like for example, helping us with the vote and some questions. But
Yeah, but
we have some good questions ourselves, and we'll save yours till the end.
well, Cuddy, take it away, man. Let's hear. We all have known you from the Superior days on, but who was Levi Cudmore all the way up until you were 20?
Well, I grew up in a very small town in North Dakota on a family farm. It's been in our generations for a while, so yeah, I don't know. I just kind of ever since I could remember, I'd always loved helping my dad on the farm, and went to a small high school. Played about basically every sport you can imagine: baseball, hockey, football. Played a little basketball. Even ran track in high school. That was kind of fun. Our football coach was the track coach also. So that
Just
happens
keeping
in
you
a
in
small
shape?
town. Yeah. He was like, yeah, you're pretty fast, so why don't you come run a relay for us?
Ooh.
You should have run the marathon with us.
No, I after my track experience, I knew I didn't like running so much. So. But those were sprints. I didn't mind the sprints. I ran the 4x100 and 4x200, so that's about as far as I can go. It's 200 meters.
Pretty good.
Dead sprint. But then, yeah. Once I graduated, I didn't really know what to do. Play hockey or football. I got an offer to play college football at a D2 school in Moorhead, Minnesota. And my plan was to go play football. So I committed there, and I was trying out for junior teams because I wanted to play junior hockey. And I could not make a team for the life of me all summer. So I was like, all right, I'm going to play football. This isn't going to work out.
How many teams you try out for?
I tried out for like 5 after like the spring of when I was going to graduate my senior year. And then all that summer, just trying to find a team for the fall. And it wasn't going so well. So I committed to play football. And yeah, that's something that not many people know.
No, I didn't.
Well, I think you told me at one point that it was to the point where you were like picked out a dorm room at the university.
Yeah, I was all set. I went to orientation. I was picking my
Holy.
classes. I had my roommate.
That's
Wow.
My
insane.
dorm
dude.
room. Yeah.
yeah, I had no idea about any of this.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
What was the moment when you're like,
I
nope?
I had one more camp left, and that was in Winnipeg, and those camps are always later. I think it was like, I don't know, end of August, September.
August.
And I found a coach at one of the schools, and he's like, yeah, we understand if you want to keep like trying out and playing hockey, and we'll take you back if it doesn't work out. So I was like, all right, cool. I'll commit here then if he's going to let me pursue my junior hockey career. And then, yeah, I went up to Winnipeg. I had to decommit. I had one more camp left, laid it all on the line in Winnipeg, and they didn't sign me until the last game of preseason, which was like the 3rd week of September.
Wow.
Yeah.
And school was rolling. The football, like you have to be there early for football in August. So I missed my boat on that. And I was so nervous. I did not, like if I didn't make Winnipeg, I would have been at home all summer.
Wow. All
So,
school year, you would have been at
yeah.
home then?
Yep.
Man. So it was all or nothing?
It was all or nothing, and it made me really nervous. So I'm just thankful that Winnipeg took me. And my experience there for the first couple of weeks, too, they invited me to the main camp, which is just Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically. And they kept me around for preseason, so I just packed for that weekend. And they're like, well, we want you to play these 2 weeks of preseason, but we don't have anywhere for you to stay. And I just had a duffel bag with like four outfits. And they put me up with one of the scouts. So I was living on his couch for a couple weeks.
Wow.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And that was my first
Jeez.
experience in Canada, a new country. And I was living on a random guy's couch.
Made the
Wow.
team.
And I made the
You
team.
grinded
luckily.
through it, hey?
Yeah.
Thanks to Billy Keane.
Yeah.
I did through it.
I would like to
MJ alum.
kind of rewind back to like your childhood, because I mean, a lot of us have been. I don't know if Frizz has been to your house yet. I know. Have you?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's only myself then. Like, when you say you come from like a small community, like sometimes like it's hard to put in perspective how small your community is. Like, how many people live in your town?
It's about 1,200 people.
Like
12 to 1,500 probably.
So then
it's
growing
pretty
up,
small.
like, was your class like the same? Like it didn't really grow when it came to graduation. Like, how many people were
No.
like in your grad class?
Yeah, it was I graduated with like 38 kids.
That's insane.
So, but I mean, going to a small school, like you're friends with all this, like as a freshman, like you're friends with the seniors, the juniors, like everyone basically hung out together, especially if you played sports together.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times, like in small towns, like you're playing, like freshmen get the opportunity to play, so you're playing with like all the upperclassmen, so you get to know those guys pretty well.
Yeah. Wow. What was your
But yeah,
your greatest accolade from high school sports? I know we joke around with it a lot around here.
yeah, I won Senior Athlete of the Year for Class A football my senior year.
Mr. North Dakota, huh?
Yeah, Mr. Football.
Mr. Football.
Wow.
So
Kick and sling a pigskin.
Yeah.
that's another funny story too. Like our football team, like back in the day, was terrible. Like we hadn't won state in over 100 years. That was the first time, and I think it might have been exactly 100 years that we won state my junior
100
year.
years?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you won state in football either. Like, this is
Yeah.
all, I
So-
knew you were good, but
So junior year we won state, and I was playing receiver, and I was backup quarterback. The quarterback in front of me was a senior, and then he graduated, and then they moved me to quarterback my senior year. And when I tell you, like, my class was 38 kids. All the guys in that class were very athletic. Like, it was crazy. Like, we had big linemen that were freaking strong and would pancake kids.
It's just
and
something
like,
in the water that birth
Yeah.
year, eh?
97 birth year?
Yeah, the 97 birth year was a good year in Park River.
that is so funny. So what was it like winning state football in North Dakota?
Oh, it was crazy. Like, basically the whole town came out to Grand Forks. It was Grand Forks the first year and Fargo the second year. And holy, like, they printed out yellow shirts and, like, they filled, like, those college domes, like, with
Wow.
one side of just yellow.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah, very
Aggie.
good support.
Go Aggies.
Yeah.
And then from what I remember, you went to Park River, and they didn't have a hockey team.
No, they didn't. So we actually combined with Grafton. So I played, like, it was a co-op basically, and yeah, there was always a lot of, I don't want to say issues, but like there's always drama going on with, like, oh, my kid's not playing because he's from Park River, or like because all the coaches were from Grafton. So there's always that drama, but
How many kids
worked
from
out.
Park River?
it was about half.
Oh,
Yeah. At one point there was a lot more kids from, like, the surrounding towns than playing hockey than players that actually lived in Grafton. So yeah.
So what was it like growing up in the farming, I guess, like, industry, coming from a family farm?
Yeah, it teaches you a lot of hard work, that's for sure. But no, it was good. Very peaceful out there on the farm, and yeah, you just basically, it teaches you at a young age to, like, work hard, and, like, once you get your work done, you get rewarded and get to go hang out with friends. And it's always fun to bring my friends out there too and kind of experience that farm life a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
See what all the country songs are talking about.
Yeah, really.
what
really
age
understand.
did your dad, like, start giving you real responsibilities?
That's a good question. I don't really know. He taught me how to drive, actually, like, very young, so I could go pick him up in the field when he needed to move fields or come home. But yeah, just every year, I guess, growing up, he gave me a little bit more leash, and like I would always learn on the job. I remember him like teaching me how to fence. That was one of the jobs he passed on to me right away, which is not the most fun job,
Can't
but
imagine.
yeah, he taught me how to do that, and I did that from a very young age. And then yeah, driving tractor, cultivating, I was pretty young doing that too. But yeah, just as you get older, you kind of learn more, and he gives you more responsibilities.
And it
So
was just your grandpa, your dad, and you.
Yep.
And then your mom and sister would help out too.
Yep, they would help out when need be.
It's a true family farm.
Well, how many generations has your farm been in? How
I
many
want to
Cudmores?
say at least like 7 generations.
That's crazy.
I remember I always ask my grandpa too. He's like, when did the family settle in North Dakota? And I think I always get the story mixed up, but I think they came over from Canada and settled in North Dakota. But they've been like farming, just a Cudmore family farm
Cuddy-
bloodline.
Cuddy literally lives like how far from the Canadian border?
Like 35 minutes.
Yeah, he lives like closer to Lawson than anyone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
which
are
is
the
kinda
closest.
funny.
Yeah.
He lives closer than I do, and
Yeah.
I'm in the same province as him.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny that me and Lawson grew up like 45 minutes to an hour apart.
And then the
And now I
paths
just
never
made-
crossed
yeah.
before.
Yeah. Do you have any funny farming stories growing up?
I'm sure I do. I gotta think though.
How about the cattle experience?
Yeah,
when
I'll
you
tell you.
came?
I'll tell you a cattle story. So I was in 4-H, and
And what
growing
is
up,
that?
Hoorah.
it's an organization where like farm kids get to show off their animals, and like you bring them to a competition, and you just like showmanship type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to halter break these like cows that you're gonna bring, because you got to tame them down a bit. You can't just bring a wild animal in there, so you got to work with them every day, put a halter on. But sometimes they can be so stubborn and don't want to like walk when you want them to walk. And I just remember like first time putting a halter on, this is the first time that I was showing anything, and my cow did not want to move. So I was yanking it, wouldn't, like, you got to train it, and it would not move. So I tied it to the back of the four-wheeler, and I drove the four-wheeler and got him to walk.
That's funny.
Yeah, little trick there.
That's good, yeah. I think I'd walk if I was tied to a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
And then what?
How about any injuries on the farm from you?
Injuries? Not really. I've never broken a bone or tore a muscle or anything. It just bumps and bruises here and there, cuts and scrapes. Nothing
You're
major.
lucky.
Did crash my dirt bike. Had a dirt bike accident, but that was probably the worst. Farming.
The blue dirt bike that
Yeah.
I couldn't ride.
Yeah, that one.
Dang. So what are you doing now with farming? You still farming, or are you just hanging here with us?
Yeah, I'm trying to live best of both worlds. Just being down here, going back and helping out. My dad's, I feel kind of bad sometimes because he's on his own now, but he finds help from like high school kids, and like my grandpa's been helping out a little bit when I'm gone. So yeah, just doing my best at being down here and trying to help THG grow. And also I started farming on my own a little bit too, so that's kind of my main focus now. Is I bought farmland junior year of college, and it was just kind of like a kickstart because I was always planning on farming after college. So the opportunity came for me to buy farmland, so I did it, and now that's kind of my little pride and joy,
Yeah.
is that land. So
Well, we appreciate your services hanging down here with us.
yeah, no, it's fun.
I appreciate farming services. I respect farmers
Yeah.
a ton because I could never, I don't think.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of hours
I hate when
behind
people
the
hate on
wheel.
farmers and all that
Mhm.
stuff because it's like, how are we going to eat?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Exactly.
We don't need to get into that, though.
No.
And I don't know if you said earlier, but what year did you start playing hockey? And then did your dad play beforehand, or how did he get you into it?
My dad was a basketball player, actually.
Oh,
So my mom got me skating when I was probably, I don't know, she probably put me in skates at around 2, but And then obviously I probably couldn't skate, but yeah, I was very young. I think I started playing around 4, kind of like
There's a rink
everybody.
in Park River.
Yeah. Yeah, small little rink.
Super warm.
No. Freezing
Cold.
cold. Yeah, it's like a barn.
Yeah,
So there's
those
no
ones
insulation.
Those ones are always the worst.
Yeah. And there's like
the
a big
temperature outside is the temperature inside.
yeah, and there's a big fan in the corner of the rink that it just goes to outside. So
Oh,
like
gosh.
it blows cold air in.
Wow.
But yeah, I started playing hockey very young. And I remember too, growing up, I would always, after practice, I would always ask my parents if I could skate with the older kids because they had practice after us. And coaches would let me do that, so I just putz around with them. And then I just remember, like, after games, even on the weekends, like when you're termites and mites, I would just skate out there after our games with a couple buddies and just play, like, tag and stuff like that. I just never wanted to leave the ice.
That's where your love grew, huh?
Yeah. It was so hard to get me out of the rink. And it's fun going back there too, because like all the memories and like it's just like a barn with an ice sheet, but
Yeah.
it's still fun to just very nostalgic to
Did
go
you guys have
cruise
to
around.
travel a lot, like before getting to high school to go play their teams?
Oh yeah, we traveled a lot because most of the teams were at least an hour away.
Dang.
So if not more.
Dang.
But yeah, I remember there are a lot of trips in the SUV,
Yeah.
watching movies, the stinky hockey bag in the back.
Oh yeah. Did you have
During
any?
snowstorms.
Did you have a moment in your career where you like kind of had that, like, okay, I can maybe go play like juniors or?
Yeah, I never thought of that, but there is once you ask that, there is one time freshman year I was playing varsity and we're playing against Devils Lake. They weren't the best team, but they were pretty good. It was like, I don't know, I think we beat them like 7-3 or something. But it was like it was early December, and so I wasn't playing varsity very long. I started out at JV, and during that game I had 4 goals as a freshman. So that was the moment where I was like, okay. And then people, like all the older kids, like started to recognize, like, oh, you're pretty good. And then yeah, that was kind of the moment where I was like, yeah, I want to play hockey for as long as I could.
Did you end up setting any records in high school for your team or?
No, not our
Not a
football
record
team.
breaker.
Yeah, not the hockey team.
And with your experience in Winnipeg and stuff, was that obviously your first time in Canada then?
Yeah, that was my first time in Canada when I went to go try out for that team. And then, yeah, it was quite the experience going to do that too, because I didn't know anybody. I was living in a whole new country, didn't really know a lot about junior hockey to begin with, because not many people from my small town move on and play hockey after. So I really had no idea. And I was like, I had no one to talk to either, because no one did it that I knew. So yeah, it was like, yeah, I remember picturing it like, what's that movie, Slapshot?
Yeah.
Like those old Canadian, like they got the sayings, they got like, they're just strong hockey tradition.
Mhm.
And I remember feeling that when I was like, when you go to like Winkler or Portage or
Yeah. Just
Steinbach.
completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally remember playing against you. It's always funny to think back on that. It's
Yeah.
like we maybe see each other a couple times a month, but it was just at a game.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't know you. And then, yeah. How was the recruiting experience for you to go to UWS?
It was Rich. I don't know. Rich was getting really frustrated with me, I think.
Were you bad at texting him back?
Yeah. And I would ignore his calls all the time. But it was like I was trying, like, I don't know. I was trying so hard to go D1, and I didn't want to settle for a D3 school. And then I was like, I knew this one guy from North Dakota that played in Dauphin. Oh, you know him, Keaton
Leininger?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my phone's buzzing. Spam. But yeah, so he went to Plattsburgh, and Plattsburgh was talking to me too. So I was like trying to go out there, And he's like, last minute, he's like, yeah, coach is like leaving, and they're bringing in this like our assistant coach, and he's kind of a dick. So he's like, don't come here. And then it was like August.
So way after the season has been over.
Yeah, way after. Like Rich is calling me all summer, like, and I'm like talking to my
Got out of the
agent too.
workouts.
Yeah.
So is this you did 2 years of juniors? Or just
2 years in Winnipeg. Yeah.
So this is following your second season, moving on to college then.
Yep. This is after my second year in Winnipeg, and I had a good year too. I had like 72 points or something.
Goal scorer.
And I was like desperate. I remember talking to like a couple D1 schools, but like they were like, all right, we already got our team for next year and stuff like that. It's kind of too late. And then I was between Plattsburgh and Superior, and then you guys started going there, and I was like looking at the incoming freshmen for Superior, and there was a lot of MJ guys.
Tons.
So I was like, all right, I'm going there.
We had a pretty big class
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
going in.
I think it was,
freshman year.
what was it,
11?
11?
10 or 11, and we ended with 7.
Yeah. That's a
Something like
pretty
that.
good ratio of
Yeah.
what we came in with, what ended up graduating. I remember the time it must have been UWS retweeted your tweet saying you're coming to Superior. I remember looking at it, like your photo, because they hyped you up. Like obviously you said you had a good year leading
Garbs?
into it. Yeah, like they hyped Cuddy up. I remember the tweet. It was just like they were like calling you just like a natural goal scorer, and just like.
He's gonna be the
Oh
savior.
my gosh.
And I remember seeing your photo, and I was like, oh gosh. And yeah, it was late. I do remember you're like the last person to even like.
Yeah,
Commit.
Rich was frustrated with me, but he was happy when I committed. He was just happy to be done talking to me.
Hounding you
I
down.
think, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really realize, obviously, your whole backstory when we first met. It's like, oh, this is just like another American who went to Canada just like me, played,
Yeah.
and then ended up here. And then once we got to know each other a little bit better, I was like, oh, very different upbringings.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But, like, we all ended up in the same place.
Yeah. Should we transition into how we all met each other now? The
Yeah.
old UWS. I remember the day vividly when I met Cuddy.
Yeah, I think we talked about on the episode about me, about what Cuddy moving in that first
Mhm.
day. But yeah, what about all the other guys? How was that for you?
I remember meeting Yelly.
I had this little Jeep at the time.
Oh yeah,
So this is how I ended up getting a hold of Cuddy, because I needed some help.
Yeah. So
I remember this.
So Yelly needed help moving his stuff in because, like he said, he had a Jeep, and
It was tiny.
Tiny.
it was a tiny
No
Jeep.
trunk. Zero trunk in this thing.
And there was probably 2 guys on the team that had pickup trucks. And so Yelly texted me. He's like, do you mind if you, like, can I borrow your truck or whatever? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I'd be nice, meeting one of your teammates, whatever. And show up, meet Yelly. I can't even remember. Where did I go to? Your house?
I forgot where you ended up meeting me, but this was like we haven't even met each other in person yet at this
Yeah.
point. It was just like
Just
sent a
like group
text,
me.
then
It
I
was
was
a
like-
group me message, yeah.
And yeah, I don't.
You needed help. I remember now. You needed help moving garbage out of your house.
Yeah.
So
So we had
yeah.
a bunch of seniors that were living there prior, and they left all their junk. So yeah,
They
that's
left
why I called.
They
Cuddy.
left literally garbage in there from last year.
Oh.
And so yeah, I just backed up my truck. I met you. I met Oscar, and these are like European guys. Pavel, Jerry, what's his name, Gino, and they're from. One's Russian, one's from Sweden, one's
Another's
from
Russian.
Finland.
Church was probably there.
Church, yeah.
Church, yeah.
That was my
from
roommate's
Ukraine.
freshman year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
another funny story too. Like when I first got to Superior, I didn't really know anybody, and like the first like 6-7 people I met were all Europeans, and I'm like, wow, this is kind of cool. Like it's fun hearing their accents and
Yeah.
getting to know people from other countries.
Yeah, they are. They're unique.
Yeah,
those
they
guys
are.
for sure. But I just remember how much fun we had that like first week before orientation when we had nothing,
Mhm.
no hockey, no school or anything. We just hung out and met everyone, and no, that was a blast of a week. Just
Oh, yeah.
freshman year orientation week, hanging out, going to parties, just getting to know everyone.
Yeah, we did a lot of fishing that year, us three,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in the spring.
in the springtime.
Yep. I think I caught like one good fish the whole time. Decent walleye. That's it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys had the big catch.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
found a little honey hole,
Yeah.
Barker's Island.
Yeah. And freshman year was a blast.
But yeah, I remember when I like the first week of like being in Superior, we didn't know what to expect from like the hockey side of it.
Mm.
So we were like going on runs and we were going on
We did.
rollerblades, like trying to stay in shape. Like,
We were scared.
because I remember like a couple of the upperclassmen drove by us while we were running and they
Mhm.
were just chirping us because
Yeah.
we were like
Me and
freshmen
Batesy,
trying to make a good impression.
we had no clue what to expect going into camp.
Yeah.
It was probably helpful that we did that.
Yeah.
Because camp sucked that year.
That was a very tough training camp.
Yeah, that would have sucked for you guys just because you lived a bit farther than everyone else for your
Mhm.
morning.
It was a blessing and
Morning
a curse.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because, like, people, it was nice being over there because then we didn't have to, like, host as much.
Well, yeah, I meant like just specifically for those 6 a.m.
Oh.
workouts that
Oh,
started
yeah,
the year
so,
off.
Yeah, we woke up 15 minutes earlier than everyone.
Yeah.
But that was like nothing I've ever done before.
Mm-mm.
We did it for 6 weeks. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. on the track.
Yeah.
September into October.
Through the last 3 weeks, it was like cold.
It was like 40 degrees when we'd go out there.
Yeah.
People were showing up with the flu. We were just
Yeah.
running around.
Dude, if you combine that,
You know our warm up? First thing, like we would stretch and then, all right, 1 mile, under 7 minutes or something. That was our warm up.
yeah.
We were in shape that
And
year.
we
were
ran
in
like
shape.
12,400s
Oh,
all at
we'd
once.
carry people around the track or across the wet football field.
Yeah.
Dude, if you combine that training camp with that National Guard thing we did,
Oh my gosh, we did that too.
we basically went to boot camp.
Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't
I
there
forgot
for
we
that.
did that Marines thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like these different groups around the area that wanted to go into the Marines.
Mhm.
So they put like that camp on. Were you
It
there?
was
You
ROT,
were there.
That was our
ROTC,
freshman
I
year,
think
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kids who were
God.
getting ready for boot camp. Like
Yeah.
real
Yeah,
boot camp.
real boot
And then
camp.
our coach somehow
Got
made our
us
whole
in
there.
team go there.
Team building.
It's all these 18-year-olds and then us just 21 and up.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
just dying, running around with
Backwards hats
relic
on.
AKs that are real weight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Bear
They're
crawls.
screaming at us.
Mhm.
If you laughed or smiled a little bit, they make you do push-ups.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
man.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite memory from UWS?
That's a tough
You
question.
got 4 years to pick from. You can just stick to freshman year if you want.
You know, one thing that stands out is when we hit 1 million. That
Mhm.
night. That was a good night.
It was a good night. Was
Came-
it after a game?
It was
Yeah.
after a game, yeah. We
Yeah.
came back and I don't know, it was Lawson, I think, had it all
Balloons.
set up, like the balloons, 1 million, and we just walked into like this big celebration after a game, and
Yeah,
it was
that was
pretty
sick.
fun.
Yeah.
That was a good time. I remember, obviously, you're one of the guys from our group who went and tried out your hand in professional hockey.
Oh yeah.
So that was over our famous spring break tour, but
Yeah.
you were able to meet us in Chicago for that game. First, what was your experience like playing in the SP? And then second, like, what were your thoughts when you showed up in Chicago that night? And that was our third game of the week. We were acting like pros because we've
Yeah.
done it a couple nights
Yeah.
already. And, like, you just showed up because it was, however, not too far from where you were.
You know, my experience playing professional hockey was very eye-opening for me, I would say.
Very different than the Birmingham
Very
guys'
different.
experience.
Very different. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys listening, if you know anything about Vermilion County Bobcats, but they kind of had some issues. But no, the coach was great. The guys were great. Yeah, it was. I didn't know what to expect. It was a 9-hour drive. I was nervous. I went a day like on an off day, which was kind of a bad decision because there's
Is it-
no practice or anything.
Illinois,
Yep.
Mhm.
Danville.
It's like
Illinois.
right on the Illinois-Indiana
Okay.
border. So, Yeah, stayed in a hotel the first night, and then he finally found a spot for me. I think he might have even cut a guy and had him move out so I could move in.
Jeez.
But yeah, it was not very fun, I would say. I mean, I like the guys, and then like the playing in these big arenas that are packed was kind of fun too. But other than that, didn't like the area. Didn't enjoy the lifestyle too much. A lot of travel.
Oh, you gave it a shot.
Gave it a
That's
shot,
what it's
yeah.
about.
That was my mindset going into it too. I knew you guys were going on your spring break tour as well, so
Wasn't there something about where you lived that, like, on your route to the rink or something, or if you went to the store, like, that's where the time change happened?
yeah, so we lived right on like the time change line. So it's like you had to be careful with your alarm because sometimes like if your phone was on one side of the nightstand,
No
like your
way.
time would change. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What type of town is this, man?
Right on the
literally
They couldn't just move it to
right
like
on the I don't know. It was like right on the outskirts of town, like
Oh
by the
my
golf course, and it was
gosh.
like your time on your phone would change depending on where you were in the apartment.
That's crazy.
Damn.
I haven't heard of that ever.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff that I wouldn't believe would happen.
Hey, but
in
you can,
Danville.
at the end of the day, say that you played a few games of
Yeah,
professional
I
hockey.
played professional hockey, and
Was that more like slap shot, or was the MJ more like slap
no,
shot?
that was more like slap. Bunch of grown men trying to kill each other.
Yeah.
That's
That
basically
was,
what-
you obviously had that was very unique because that was their first year as a franchise.
Yep. And then the
they
next
only-
year they
only-
folded.
Yeah. So,
So
you got thrown into the fire.
I
Yep.
should have kept my jersey.
You
That
gave it
thing-
back?
Yeah.
Yeah, what do they do?
It'd been worth money
Things are
nowadays.
collecting
I know. They
dust.
were so stingy about gear and stuff too. That was just another red flag. Because you knew
That's
something was
funny.
going on. They had no money.
Yeah.
But it was a nice rink though.
What-
And then second part of your question, what was it again?
What was your thoughts when you showed up in Chicago?
Oh, that was awesome. That was the best part about being in Danville, was that I got to meet you guys in Chicago. I don't know. You guys looked a little beat up, a little tired,
Probably.
but you guys kind of knew what was going on. Like you've been to a couple games before. You kind of knew the routine. So I don't know. That was amazing. You got that suite we had. We had our own drink.
Mm-hmm.
All the
THG
food.
Manhattan.
Yeah.
It was insane. Yelly's parents showed up.
Yeah.
It was fun to see them.
Miles Hector showed up too.
Miles, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a good night.
Not a bad place for your first
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
hockey game experience, because Chicago, I mean,
Yeah.
they're just top class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm so glad I got to swing that because that was probably one of my top THG memories. Just the first, like you said in the last episode, first like kind of experience with all the fun and all the possibilities that this group can create.
I like it. Yeah, I don't know if we want to move into the fan stuff yet or dig a couple more things in, but
I was just gonna ask, I mean, most people, obviously, the real followers know what you do now for THG, but explain a little bit what you do and how you came to be in those roles.
As a THG employee.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Well, I knew moving down here that I had to find a role for myself. So I kind of dove into like the podcast stuff. Frizz kind of helped out with like figuring out what to order as far as equipment and kind of the setup with the chairs and the couch and stuff. And then, yeah, I just kind of dove into like the editing and the software stuff. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I figured out how all this stuff works, all the cords and the mics and cameras and the lights, and yeah.
It's a lot
So I
more
kinda-
complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than I thought it was going to be. Like I literally had to watch a 5-minute video on how to plug this cord in and how to make this mic turn on.
Mm-hmm.
Like just little stuff like that. I always ran into issues, but yeah, I just kind of, I don't know if I'd say number 2 editor within the
Yeah.
group, I guess.
Probably.
And
Number
kind
2.
of know my way around Final Cut pretty well now, and that's the software we use for editing. But yeah, I don't know, just kind of actor, producer, editor.
Love it. You go.
What's been the biggest challenge for you? Doing something completely different than farming.
Yeah, biggest challenge was probably like continuing to find new ways to edit videos and make them like and pop more, get more attention. It's always a struggle because there's just so many different ways you can like piece together a video.
Yeah.
So
I feel
probably
like
that.
it would kind of suit you well because your whole life from farming, you've probably learned to pick up on things pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Adapt.
Yeah. I guess you could say that. I don't know.
No?
Yeah.
You're a chameleon.
I'm a chameleon.
You got a bunch of different hats in your closet you can throw on.
My dad will tell me one thing, and then I'll have to call him like when I get out there and finally start.
Dad, I wasn't listening.
What do I got?
In 1 year, out the other, depending on what it is. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'd say I could pick up on stuff pretty easy if
Yeah.
I stay motivated.
Mhm. Yeah, you and Lawson kind of were able to be a good team with finding different things out and trying new ways. That was always cool to see the different developments of the videos throughout each week.
That's another thing too. Like right when I met Lawson, he was so like, I never met a guy like that creative before. Like he knew how to work a camera. He knew how to play guitar. He did it all. He was a good hockey player.
Yeah.
He was strong in the gym.
We just
He's
found
like-
out he can do well on a scooter.
Yeah.
Yep.
He can do kick flips on a scooter. But
Remember,
yeah,
I don't know what year it was, but you and I would always go over to Lawson's apartment on Sundays for some reason.
To work out?
No.
just hang
literally
out.
sit in his apartment.
Really?
Maybe do our last minute homework. And then Lawson would always be doing something on his computer.
Yeah.
I just remember those Sundays because it's like, what are you doing today, Lawson? He's like, oh, I'm just editing my vlog from our road trip or something like that. That was where I know that I noticed, like, oh, like he really likes this stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we were just always around it ever since Lawson came to Superior.
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna say too. Is like when he was editing, like in front of me for the first time, I was like, "Holy, that's interesting!" Like I just wanted to dive deeper in it. I thought it was so cool that he could film a video with his phone and then upload it and add all these effects and all this stuff and make it like look like a little mini movie type thing. And I
Yeah.
thought it was so cool, so I like found an interest in that.
Pretty
Well,
good.
we're happy you're here.
Yeah,
We're happy
glad
you're
to
on
be
the
here.
team.
Your roommate doesn't know much about you. You're going to have to
Yeah.
talk more.
Oh no, we
A lot
have
of
some
information
fun.
for you. Huh?
We have some good nights for sure. If people didn't know, me and Cuddy are roommates,
Yep.
actually. So learned a lot about him, how he works, how he operates, and
What have you learned?
It's coming down, though.
still have a couple more weeks.
That's it?
Couple months.
Weeks?
Yeah.
Basically 2 months roughly.
Oh, wow.
It all depends on Dave. Dave's kind of in the driver's seat right now.
Oh.
Dave is.
Yeah, he's got some big plans.
Oh,
Yeah,
my.
man.
What's his big plans?
We'll have to see if that ends up working out, but we could
Send it to the fans.
yeah, we could send it to the fans here. So
Hit me with it.
obviously, we have that great question that we are going to be asking everyone, and it is your top 3 THG moments.
Well, my first one was that night in Chicago. It was the first taste of THG fun and like going on the Jumbotron and stuff like that. 2, it's so hard. I want to say Vegas just because we did so many activities. Like, I thought that was so fun going dune buggying. We got to go on the helicopter. We ate at a fancy restaurant. Like, that was so much fun. And then, yeah, Stanley Cup Finals. Just something you dream of going to as a kid. Just very, like, it was like a wow moment.
Which one?
Probably the first one in Tampa against Colorado. I'll never forget that one.
Yeah.
But even that one in Florida, too,
It's just
against
crazy.
Vegas was insane.
I remember Are you a bit of an adrenaline junkie?
Yeah.
Because you and Dave were definitely the most hardcore dune buggy drivers.
Oh yeah.
I grew up on dirt bikes and 4-wheelers and side by sides like that, so I like to go fast.
That was second
And-
nature for you.
And before we get to the other question, there's one thing that people may not know about you that you did that is ultra adrenaline.
What's that? Oh, skydiving.
Mm-hmm.
Without anyone.
You're the only one in the group who's ever
Did it
Yeah,
solo.
I'll tell this story. Yeah, so that's what I was telling you about my classmates. So I went with 4 of my classmates. And I don't know whose idea it was. It was probably my cousin's idea because he's a big adrenaline junkie. But yeah, he just put in a group chat. He's like, does anybody want to go skydiving? And I was kind of hesitant at first, but all the other guys are saying yes. And I'm like, all right, screw it. When am I ever going to go skydiving again? So signed up for it. And then we had a decision. It was either like have someone jump with you and go from like higher up and longer free fall, or you can take this 6-hour class and jump on your own. So we took the 6-hour class, and I remember it too vividly. We waited there was no one to pack the parachutes. So we were all just sitting there waiting for someone with like the authority to come like pack them for us. So once they got packed, it was like we were there all day like doing the training and stuff. And it was probably like 6:30 p.m. Finally got to jump. But yeah, I was so nervous.
Where was this?
This was in Fargo, North Dakota.
Wow. That's wild.
So your parachute is connected to the plane. So when you walk out onto the wing, you hang there and you're like dangling. And there's this little dot underneath the plane wing that you're supposed to look at. And so you just walk out there. And I remember my hands are sweaty. I'm like,
nervous?
I'm looking down. I'm like, this is crazy. And then I just like, once I got out there, the guy gives you the go ahead, and then you just let go and you free fall for just a couple seconds until your parachute opens up and then float.
Can you pull the cord?
No, it's connected. So like all I had to do was let go. But like if it doesn't pull, then that's why you take the training, right? You got like 2 other parachutes connected.
Imagine
Emergency
that.
ones. So yeah, floating down was unreal though. That was my favorite part because you can turn your parachute and go wherever you want, and there's a landing zone. You kind of it's fun.
If you would have had your phone, you would have had a good social media video there.
Yeah, could you imagine if I was just like selfie mode jumping out of a plane?
Oh man, props to you. That stuff just makes me like.
You got to do it.
I get squirmy.
There's no other feeling. It's like, well, obviously you're falling, but you want to like catch yourself, but there's nothing to grab. So it's like you're like just there's nothing you can do. It's the ultimate rush. There's no other feeling like it. So go skydiving if you get a chance.
Tell Cuddy if you do.
Yeah, let me know.
Oh yeah, wow. I did not know you went skydiving, but this one comes from, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier, but this one comes from a guy by the name of Lozzie, I think it is.
Oh,
Lousy
yes.
Simulator one?
What is your favorite thing about editing content, and why do you like it?
My favorite thing about editing is you can control the direction of the video. Like a lot of times, like you can film a clip at the end of the day, but you can use that as like your beginning clip and so on and so forth. Like it's just interchangeable parts that you can put together to make a masterpiece.
Well
And
said.
that's what I like.
Well said.
Thank
Nice,
you.
nice. Okay, the other question is, obviously you have a bunch of different projects to do on the farm. They always take different amounts of time, work ethic. What is your favorite work project to do on the farm?
Combine, for sure. There's nothing like getting those crops off the field and getting your paycheck.
Yep.
Nice.
I like it.
Raking up the money.
It's
eh?
very rewarding.
It's the
Some
Super Bowl.
years.
Super Bowl of the year.
It is the Super Bowl for farmers.
So is
Harvest.
everyone happy in town during that week?
Everyone's more stressed out and in a rush. Like there'll be trucks buzzing around.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it doesn't always go sunshine and rainbows so smooth. There's always breakdowns and just little things that can halt you from getting your job done.
It's almost that time of the year for you to do that now.
Yeah, that's my next step is figuring out a time to go back and harvest my crops this fall.
Yeah.
Gotta put a halt to the trips for just a week or so.
Well, I think one of the last questions is, what kind of animals do you have on your farm?
I got cows, horses, I got a dog, Ace, and some cats.
Some nice barn cats.
Did you get a duck?
It's another story. I got, what was it, my 25th birthday? Kind of had not really a midlife crisis.
A quarter life crisis.
Yeah. Mid-20s crisis.
I guess, yeah.
So, yeah, I went to TSC, picked up a couple ducks, and raised them. They were fun.
Where are they at now?
They're not as much work as you think.
Where are they? Are they Roman?
Yeah, they flew south.
Come on. Are they
Yeah.
going to come back, you think?
I don't know. I hope so. We'll see if they remember.
TSC. How much is a duck at the Tractor Supply?
Couple bucks. But then I had to buy the food and crap.
Yeah, I remember the day when you sent the snap in the group chat.
That's
of
another
your
thing.
Kiddie pool of ducks.
That's another reason why I got them too. I thought it would be good for content.
Tony.
Yeah.
Insane.
Plus, it's funny to send pictures in the group chat.
Yeah.
Did you end up naming them?
Yeah, Joey and Chandler.
You did that? Okay.
Yeah.
Chandler
Yeah.
and Joey?
Yeah.
Friends.
You know what
Friends.
I was just gonna ask if you.
No,
knew
I
where
never
that was
really.
from.
I'm not really a Friends watcher.
Yeah. Cuddy and I used to crush Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it came
Sitting
from.
in
huh?
our recliners.
Yeah.
Pretend we're Joey and Chandler.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Just lazy days.
Yeah, we watched a lot of TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. A lot of TV and video games during COVID.
Yep.
Well, dude, you got an interesting life, Cuddy, to say
Yeah.
the least. I gotta say, I learned a lot actually today.
Did you? Well,
A lot of different
that's what I'm here for.
little stories.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
What else can we get out of this guy?
What's your future plans coming up here in the next couple weeks? Have any events or anything you're looking forward to?
Yeah, we got Lawson's wedding, and then we're coming back. I think Nickelback is playing Monday. I want to go to
Yes.
that. That'd be an unreal concert
Get your tickets
before they stop touring. I don't know how long they'll be kicking around,
Yeah.
but I want to go to that for sure. Going to Toronto, which I'm really excited for good things.
Have you been?
Nope, never been. Only city in Canada I've been to is Winnipeg. So
Wow.
that's
Different.
I'm pretty
Quite
excited.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I hear. So I'm excited for that, and then after that, I don't know. Probably have to go back and harvest for a bit.
I actually have a question for you that I thought of yesterday and just remembered it. What is it like for you going back home with just like your whole farming community? What do they think of you being in social media and just like doing the stuff with the hockey guys?
It's crazy. It's like I'm a celebrity back there.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. Like, I've been in the paper twice now. Once was on the front page. I had a huge picture. You guys seen it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, you guys kind of know, like, I don't know. It's just like they think it's crazy that social media is actually like a career path.
Yeah.
And they're very supportive. They love it when I come home, and it's like, it's crazy the amount of people that I never knew that were following me and our journey. And they always talk about you guys too, and how they feel I'm super lucky to have friends like you guys, which I am. But yeah, it's just crazy. Go
Yeah.
back with all that support, and it's fun too, because then it feels like I'm staying in touch with the people back home too, you know, because they can kind of see me and watch me and see what I'm up to and what I'm doing. And like, I went back for a wedding last week, and I was talking to an old old high school buddy. These guys always make fun of me when I say that, but yeah, an old high school buddy, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to just like tap through your stories and be like, oh, where's Cuddy at tonight?
Yeah.
What city and what hockey game and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that. So it's fun to hear that when I go back home, that people are following along and
Yeah.
are enjoying the content.
Local legend.
Mm-hmm.
2-time front page paperboy.
And we have your mom and a few of your mom's friends are always commenting on the videos too.
Yeah. I got
Yeah.
to give a shout out to Nancy Miller. She's a big supporter.
Oh yeah.
Big mama.
Big mama.
She's always in the comments. Always
That's
swiping
a
up
great-
on
a great
Snapchat.
Instagram name.
Yeah. Yeah, she's the best.
Awesome, Cuddy. Thank you for taking the time. Is there anything else that you want to share with the people?
I don't know.
I know we got to pry it out of you sometimes.
Keep sharing Cuddy's micro content. He works hard at it.
He
folks.
does.
Yeah, I always appreciate the like and the comments, the reposts, the shares.
The feedback.
Yeah.
Fires him up when he sees a video doing well.
Yeah, it does. A lot of them take a lot of work, so it's like it's fun to see some results once in a while.
Yeah. Well, thanks for answering our questions.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the pod, boys.
I'm sure the people are going to absolutely love this. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, DM Cuddy if you have any more questions about him.
Yeah, shoot me a message.
He's great at texting back. One of the best. But next week, you'll get to hear our recap of Lawson's wedding. It's finally here. It's going to be a fun weekend. We're all heading up to Manitoba for the weekend, and it's just going to be a blast. So be sure to tune into that. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Cuddy, sign us out.
Signing out.